it's very interesting to see where these Gen AI applications are cropping up. And I think a lot of the use cases come into something that could be obviously very manual. You could have a human go and do it, but it's not this kind of predictive deterministic code that we have seen of the past, which is if this is true and this is true and that's false, then do X. It's more of this kind of amorphous, go out there, figure out what is out there, understand it, come back, and then help make a decision to move forward or give more information to a human so that the human can make a decision.
Yeah.
This is where we're kind of starting with generative AI. Do you see, obviously there is a replacement, right? There's always a replacement. New technology replaces old work and old jobs. But do you see this expanding into software development at some point? And do you think that the software developer is going to be, over the next 10 years eradicated as a job field? And now it's just going to be people that know how to work with or prompt Gen AI?
So it's a kind of a tough question to answer in the way that you're thinking about it. I think that software engineers will probably exist forever, or at least as long as humans have technology in some form like a computer. I mean, the quantum computers coming next are going to require a whole nother type of programming. We're going to have to interface with it in a different way and think about it in a different way. This is just another transition phase. And the part about like programmers no longer existing, I think that there's a type of programming that's done today, a type of coding that's done today that goes away because it's replaced by, I wouldn't call it prompt engineering. I would say somebody like a product manager who very well understands the business needs and is pretty good at translating that into technical requirements is what a lot of programmers of today, a lot of the coders of today will be doing instead. They'll be much more like what we think of a product manager being today. However, our ultimate thesis on IT systems within a large corporation is that once we understand the complex interaction of all your systems, people, workflows, and data, once we can map that out, then we can replace all those systems with a simple AI tool. So the idea being that, well, I think I just described it. I don't need an ERP and WMS and LMS, all these other systems anymore. I don't need to integrate them anymore because I have all the data and the interactions and the workflows that go along with it captured in a vector graph. So that when somebody tries to accomplish something with it, I know exactly what needs to occur. And anything that would have been happening within those systems, I can also automate behind the scenes because it's just, data moving around. So there are a lot of roles that change with that too. But I do think software engineers will be around forever. The need to take our complex technology and make it adapt to our human needs isn't going away. It just changes. I don't write in Fortran, COBOL, or I don't sit down and write in assembly or anything like that anymore. We've moved towards higher level languages, and the promise for me was always, and I actually think it was Steve Jobs that said it when he was talking about Visual Basic when it came out. He said, "Finally, I can talk to a computer like I talk to people, and it understands me." It wasn't really true then. But it is now. With things like ChatGPT, I can ask the machine for what I desire, and it understands the context of that, and it can give me what I want. So that's what a programmer's always been in the job of doing, is translating that human need into something the machine understands. So yeah, it changes, but it changes, I think, in the most powerfully positive way there is. We've unlocked the promise of automation and given it to everybody. Everybody has the power to go do all the things that these wonderful pieces of technology have given us. We all have the ability to use it at its utmost potential. I said my origin story around programming was I was the one that had additional skills and could sit down and do stuff. And initially my reaction to this modern Gen AI world was, oh no, what will I do now? All the value that I think I created.
The wizards are no longer needed.
No longer needed. Right? That's not true though. I think I'm needed more now than I ever was.
I think the framing that you said a little bit ago was extremely interesting, which is likely what we'll move towards, which is like as long as every piece of data and every business logic is connected into the vector space, and you're able to then have a single entry point, it'll be able to take any input and do any action, right? That would kind of be the holy grail. And if you just translate that into like non-techno babble, it's basically imagine you had a person within your company that was omniscient about everything in your company and omnipotent in the sense that it could go and take action in any aspect of your company. And you gave that person as an assistant to every single human within your organization. And that really is what we're kind of talking about
Right.
of feeding the beast, right? The more you feed in of APIs and endpoints and databases and data warehouses, and then, like you said, you just speak to it, and you can literally speak to it, right? If you want to set up Whisper, you can literally speak to the software. So do you think that applications as we know them, right? Right now, we're so used to having a computer screen, or a mobile phone with a screen. And in the screen, you click on things, whether with your finger or your mouse, and then you click on buttons and you input and type text. What do you think happens to the quote unquote application
Yeah.
of the future for interacting with technology?
Yeah, actually, it's a great question, and it's one that I think that a lot of us are grasping for answers on. The the display interface keyboard mouse combo was useful in its time, and it was an adaptation of the typewriter before it, and it's not ideal. I don't think any human being wishes that they could be sitting down and typing all the time. Well, maybe that's not true. I do like sitting down and typing. I'm quite fast at it, but I think of this stage in technology that we've just come out of as a necessary stepping stone. But the one that we're moving into is where it's almost like living in the future, but it's what we've all hoped for. Even in the Star Trek series from the 70s, the humans talked to the machine because that's how we tend to share information with each other. And that's a much more natural interface. I see no reason why the tyranny of the terminal needs to continue. I don't need to be sitting at a keyboard with, a monitor and a mouse any longer. I can be walking out on forest trails if I wanted to, as long as I have something like my iPhone with me that I can talk to, and it can do, it can do the things I ask it to do. The technology is meant to be an enabler, not a like I said, a tool that I absolutely have to use. It's trying to solve a problem, and it's not perfect. It's not perfect yet. I don't think this is perfect. ChatGPT and tools like that aren't perfect either, but they're heading in that direction rapidly. So I think we move away from the terminal finally.